Dusk fell against the world, smothering the hot sky like a heavy quilt. It darkened the shadows against his wall of thick leaves from the magnolia that rested against his side of the house. Lee gave a sigh, running his hands through his hair. Kieran had been his only thought today. All he could think of was the ghost that was tormented, that forever wept beneath a mask whiter than ivory. She had consumed him. He hadn't left his room except to go to the bathroom for the entire day. All he was concerned with was finding a way to help Kieran. He now knew why his dreams urged him to finish the song, why he'd been drawn to the grand Lady Victorian house. It was to save her, to save Kieran, and to bring her song into fruition. If he could only find out how. He'd tried any number of websites, everything from popular fiction to ancient folklore. For connecting the world, the internet told him little of how to lift curses from ghosts. There were plenty on how to lift the curse of a ghost, but not for the ghost. He hardly believed his own thought process. He mused with the fact that he could have dreamt it all, but that thought was always banished the next second he conceived it. There was no way he could have imagined her. Lee shivered. There was no way he could have imagined Devon either. In the end, the only thing that had brought him back to the House of Roses was her voice. So broken, so forlorn, he'd heard her begin to hum from his hiding crevice in the lawn. Her voice was beautiful, heart-rendingly so. He imagined the sirens weeping in envy of her. The dusk had thickened while he continued to search the internet, the sky taking on the colors of blood and flesh, of the dark red of lifeblood against the soft pink of a young child's skin. Sorry, a voice mused behind them. I'm afraid I'm not a Lishi. They tend to stick to the forests of Russia. Besides, I was once human. Terror immediately rushed over him as he minimized the Russian legend he'd been reading. He wasn't sure what to do. He could feel Devon's power wash over him, swirling in heavy energies that had a feel similar to the humidity of the summer air. He could smell the faint odor of sulfur and smoke. Slowly he turned around. A teenager, only slightly older than him, leaned against his window. He was taller than the frame and well-built, reminding Lee of some sort of predator at rest. Short blonde hair and a pleasant face made up the rest of his appearance. All that remained of the demon he'd seen the night before was the eyes. They were still that red and black conglomeration of malice. "Bethany is mine," he said. His voice was jovial, as if they were passing strangers discussing the weather. "You risk your soul if you continue this game." Lee swallowed past the lump in his throat. "I read the newspaper article about her death." He'd searched through the internet archives of the local newspaper until he found the yellowed page that had told him everything about the day they'd both died. "You killed her just because she broke up with you." Anger flashed through his eyes. "She pulled me along as if I was her chihuahua on a diamond-studded leash. For a year I was her obedient boyfriend. She played me so she could get her way and watch me suffer humiliation at the prom." He gave him a wry smile. "She's shallow, cruel. We match more than you think." "Does she deserve this?" Lee asked, his voice tight with anger. "So what if she hurt your feelings? So what? You tortured her for 20 years." "It was more than that, boy," Devon snapped. He leaned forward, placing his hands on his knees. "She was everything to me. She was my first, and she took my devotion and destroyed me." "God, get over yourself," Lee said. He shook his head. "She acted like most girls in high school, and you had to go become some sort of demon and—" "Do you even know what she did?" Devon interrupted. The growl in his voice stopped Lee's words. Do your dreams tell you that?" He stood and advanced on Lee. "My father had threatened to sue her father, and I talked him out of it because I loved her. After he signed away any right he had legally, she dumped me in front of everyone. She knew the struggles my family was going through and how much we sacrificed for her. We lost everything that night, so I made her lose everything." "You killed her because of that?" "I was on my knees in front of the entire school," Devon whispered. "She stood in her damn mask and taunted me, flaunted what we shared in front of everyone to see. She told me that my father had been fired, that our house was being repossessed, and everyone laughed. Everyone was afraid of her and her family. Fear." Devon laughed at the word. "She needed to know fear." Lee didn't say anything as he watched the memories dance behind the red and black power in his eyes. Finally Devon whispered, and Kieran's voice flowed past his lips, but they were harsher than he remembered her tone, full of twisted malice and spite. "You should have known you were beneath me, Devon." In this small hick town I am God. Your father was no match for mine. I snapped my fingers and you lost everything. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and to whoever I want." Devon arched an eyebrow. "Is that who you love and want to save? Is she worth saving?" Lee shook his head. He was sure that was how she'd been before her death. But just as she'd changed her name, she changed through the years of isolation in literature. His dreams told her that. He'd watched how she would begin to read when the sun rose, and she faded from the world. Years of thought and words had changed her into someone he admired. He knew Kieran better than anyone now. "She's not the only one suffering," Devon muttered. For a moment a softer emotion slid across his features. It was gone beneath his mask of cruelty almost immediately. "That's how black magic works, boy. I suffer until she consents. I walk this earth as a—" He paused and allowed the shadows to swirl around him. Lee's room darkened as the lights flickered. He noticed how that Devon wasn't a shadow. He took shadows. Any shadow made from the setting sun, the shadow of his desk, of his bed. Lee could even feel his own shadow tug against his heart. All at once the terrible feeling ended and Devon heaved a sigh. Everything returned to normal. "Well, you get the picture." He smiled a lopsided, pained smile. "She's the one that torments." "There's no way to break the curse unless she allows you to drag her to hell?" Devon's smile faltered. The world quieted around him, feeling expectant, like the air before a lightning strike. Lee's heart quickened, remembering that was how the atmosphere had felt the night before. "Listen, you little prick, I'm not stupid. You can't free her, she's mine. If I see you around her again, I'll kill you. I'll kill you slowly, unspeakably, and then I'll keep your soul as a plaything so that whenever I'm bored, I can bring you back and kill you again." Lee swallowed, trying to breathe past the rising tension in the air. Something heavy seemed to press against his chest, constricting his diaphragm. "Okay," he managed. He gasped that word. "I'll leave her alone." The pressure eased, allowing him to breathe again. Devon's smile returned. "This is my only warning, Lee. If I kill you, I get another curse added to me. But for her, I'll do anything. Don't think you can stop me. You should just forget about her. She's only a ghost of a forgotten girl." Lee nodded, rubbing his neck. His lungs hadn't realized that they could breathe yet. They seemed to be waiting for Devon to squeeze the life from them again. He closed his eyes, trying to get his rapidly beating heart under control, trying to get his lungs to breathe in. When he opened his eyes, Devon was gone.